Thanks for joining me. Today we are going to be replacing a Honeywell zone controller. If you have zone-based heating, these little wonderful Honeywell motors are what controls your zones, turns them on and off. Generally speaking, you get about 4 to 5 years out of them. A little more if you're lucky, and then the gears start wearing out and they start going and they don't go anywhere. So we're going to be replacing this one today. I bought a conversion, and I'll see about getting a link to it in the description. Keep in mind, I have no affiliate anything with Amazon, so this is just something I like to use. So what I found is these units here are a great replacement for the standard, and they really work out great. They're not specifically designed for this, but they work out fantastic. So we'll be taking this off, adding this so we can clamp onto it, and then mounting it. So in any case, let's verify I have the right Allen wrench. I do. So we are going to take that off with my 3/16 Allen. So we're going to loosen that one, take it off, undo the wiring. All right, not very complicated. Now, I'll mention it right now, and that is that this particular unit uses 3 wires, so it's an open signal and then a closed signal, so we'll be adding some more there. This is your open direction, and this is your shut direction. Open, shut. And this unit will be mounted up here like this. All right. The one thing it has is it has a bracket that you screw in like this that holds the back side of it. So how this works is you put it on there like that. All right. And then you slide this bracket in, and you put 2 self-tapping screws in there, and that's held in place. You got to watch all your adjustments. The reason you want to come back here is you don't want to use your self-tapping into your actual zone controller right here, because up in here you've got your moving parts that open and close your zone, and like I say, you don't want to screw into those. So we will be using this method right here like this. It'll be down a little bit so that this fits in there, and there's a gap because you want this to be able to swing back and forth freely. All right, so the way we're going to start this is we have to install this adapter here so that the motor has something to grab onto. It can't grab onto that small one, so this is here. Now this is designed for this screw here. As you can see, it's designed to have this sway back and forth like this. All right, which is great. However, we have a small problem with that, and that is that I have to mount it this way, and so it's going to run into there. But we are going to use option number 2, and that's a very tiny, not tiny, that's a very handy set screw. Alright, so we can put the set screw on there like this, get it nearly to the top, tighten that up, tighten it a little more just to make sure it's good, and now we have open, closed, open, closed. My furnace just started for some zone because it's really cold here in Minnesota, so it's running. So I'm going to leave it on closed. Alright, so now we're going to mount this up here. We're going to mount it at a slight angle. I'll show you why in a second. But first, what we need to do is, this is closed, that's open. this is closed. So what we need to do on this is push the clutch in and turn this to the fully closed position right there. All right, so that's closed and it hits that bracket. Okay, so then it'll go this way, which is opening later. But for right now, you want to mount that in the fully closed position. So putting it on like that, getting it up in there. Now, the reason I'm going at a slight angle here when I install this, the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to get at the screws in the backside to tighten those up. All right, so what we'll do is we can mount this like this to stop it from turning back and forth. We're going to mount this up here. That's as far as we're going to turn it, making sure this is closed, making sure it's up against the closed stop. It is. Make sure this is closed, and then we're going to tighten these. So there we have it. That's all the way into the closed position, and they want us to make sure that it can move all the way into the open position. So I'm pushing in the clutch and turning this to the open position, and that worked great. Stopping, pushing in the clutch, going all the way over to the closed position, let go, should be good right there. All right, so now we need to mount the supporting bracket. We are using self-tapping screws that came in the kit, so it should be fairly straightforward, you know, as long as you don't drop something, have an issue with gravity, all of that fun stuff. So we're going to use forward, not reverse. Okay, so here's one. There's two. And that stops it from rotating left and right. All right. So there it is. It is in. Once again, I can push the clutch in and verify that it turns all the way open and it shuts. So from that aspect, it is installed. Next stop, wiring. So here we are at the zone controller. We are attaching to zone 1. So M1 there represents the common wire. M4 represents open, and M6 represents closed. Honeywell damper motors take the 2 wires. However, this new motor uses 3. So now, as you can see, I've added that wire with 3 conductors. Red M1, the green is M4, and the white is M6, and the motor's labeled the same. Alrighty, as you can see, I decided to run a new wire. So we've got the 3 conductor wire here, and I'm gonna strip that back. Always cut away from yourself, never towards yourself. That always cracked me up, right? When using a razor blade, you should always cut away from yourself. I always said that's said that way you can always be sure to cut your friends and not yourself. So, kind of silly. Oh, this string, by the way. Why is there a string in this wire? Well, the reason there's a string in that wire is you can pull the string down and it peels the outer casing a bit, so you can, and then you can then cut it away. All right, so let's strip these wires here. Wires are stripped and we are ready to put them in there. And again, we're using the 3 wires. We're going to use them in here, and M1 goes in 1, M4 goes in 2, M6 goes in number 3. This is how that works. So the color pattern is red, green, white. So like this. So we're going to come here, bend these over. First one in here is red. Making sure that you don't stick the wire in too far so that you're clamping on the insulation instead of on the copper. There's green and white. There we go. That should be it. I'm going to fold the wire up to get it a little more out of the way, but that should complete it. So we are going to want to test its operation. So I will go turn the heat on because right now it's closed, but if I turn it on, that should then open.